Hello, everyone. Welcome to our weekly live show. Today is the last live show of 2022. Can you believe it? The year is almost ending. And I'm so excited to come in here today and talk about such an important topic of building your dream life while working a full-time job. If you are new to my community, my name is Fabiana Claure. I am a pianist and a business strategist for musicians. I help musicians and creatives go from being overworked, burned out, and overwhelmed, multi-purposed, entrepreneurial-minded creatives into becoming CEOs, really up-leveling the way they live, up-leveling the way they serve, up-leveling the way they work in the world, and stop trading time for money, stop shifting, and thinking that they need to work harder in order to get better, and really create leveraged businesses that can run on autopilot. I've worked with musicians in all the gamma for the last 7 years, both within the context of being a university educator as well as a business strategist with musicians around the world. And one of the things that I have seen come up time and time again is this conflicting challenge of how can you have a full-time job and still build the life of your dreams with having so many things on your plate. And when I talk to musicians who many of them are, very busy with either really building their online studios or their in-person studios, or maybe they teach at a university, or maybe they are working in another organization, maybe have even administrative roles. This question of like, how can you fit in the time to build your dream life while you're like executing and implementing and doing all these different things? If you're joining me live, let me know in the chat, where are you joining me from? Welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you for joining me. And again, if you watch the replay, definitely I want to hear from you in terms of your takeaways and the ideas that you want me to share in our next live show. This is our touch point every week, where I'm here to serve, to share, and to support anyone in my community who wants to think differently and act differently and be differently, right? So coming back to our training today, building your dream life while working a full-time job. I want you to know that the one thing you need to focus on, the most important thing you need to know, is that you are right now in your life, where you are, with all of the circumstances in your life, as a result of your belief systems. And those belief systems have led to certain actions, and those actions have created the outcomes that you have in your life. So the first thing you're going to want to think about is, what are the thought processes, the thought patterns that I have been adopting and utilizing to make the decisions that I've made that have brought me to this place? And not all of it is bad, of course. There are many great choices that you've made that have given you great results. But there are also inevitably thought patterns, limiting beliefs, blocks that you may have right now in your life and the way you go about doing everything you do, that have created the results that you have right now, that are the directly related to your existing reality. So the one thing you need to start when you're trying to think about building your dream life while working a full-time job is knowing that your existing reality does not need to define what you can actually accomplish in the future. And even if you're really busy and if you have a lot going on your plate, the more you can anchor that vision of the next version of your reality, that next version of not just what you're going to have in your life, but also the next version of who you need to be in order to get those results. That's the first step that's going to allow you to start building your dream life while doing what you're doing in your normal life, while working a full-time job, while taking care of kids, while building whatever it is that you're building, right? Whatever it is that you have, you cannot center your vision based on your current circumstances. You need to think ahead, not just of what you want, but also of what it's going to take for you to become that next version of yourself in order to get there. And I'm going to explain to you what I mean with this and why I think it's so critical, in that many times I'm having conversations with musicians and they're looking at potentially up-leveling their businesses, up-leveling their careers, doing this and that to improve, make changes, maybe reorganize the way they teach, restructure their studios, maybe shift their pricing structure, and just make changes all around the way they work. Maybe hire more people, delegate in a more strategic way. And the thought of making these changes puts them in a place of like, this is not who I am. I'm a person. How many of you have heard people talk like that? I'm a person who usually needs to really think a lot before making a decision. I'm a person who likes to sit on things. I'm a person who likes to, do X, Y, and Z rituals before I decide and before I make changes. And they kind of validate and reinforce this identity of being someone who needs to do a lot of things before taking action or before deciding, right? Or before making bold choices. And by you doing that, what are you doing? You are reinforcing the thought patterns, the belief systems that have brought you to where you are in your life, but that will not allow you to create dream life, to build the next version of your reality, to make the changes that you need to make, because you're cementing your old version into your actions. And you're saying, this is how I do things, this is what I have to do, and this is how I need to work in order to do what I do. So I want to encourage you to really start thinking about where in your life right now are you holding on to these old identity patterns? Where in your life are you saying, oh, I do this in this way because this is how I've always done it? And I want to encourage you to shift that and to say, what if I was willing to question that behavior, to question that decision-making pattern, right? What if I was willing to now think about myself in terms of who would the next version of myself be? How would the next version of myself decide right now? Right? If I was the person that already had what I want, if I had all of the results that I want, whether that's more time, whether it's that more clarity, whether it's more money, more prosperity, more freedom, more peace, whatever it is that you want, if you had that already, how would you make decisions from that place? How would you act from that place? Would you do the same things that you do now? Would you act the same way? Would you decide in the same way? Probably not. You would do things differently. So how about if you are trying to build your dream life right now, while you have a full-time job, while you have a lot on your plate, if you start making decisions from that next version of yourself, saying, the person I am right now is used to doing things in this way, but the person I know I need to become, to be at that next stage in my life and in my business and in my career, is not going to be making decisions in this way. It's going to be doing things differently. And you start acting out of that version of yourself versus the current reality. That step is going to completely transform your perspective and allow you to start setting better plans, making better decisions, creating better boundaries in your life around what you need to keep, what you don't need to keep, perhaps learning how to delegate more and strategize. A lot of the challenges that I hear musicians share with me when they have a full-time job and they're trying to build their better life is that they just think that building a better life is going to add more on top of what they already have. And it feels this sense of like, I'm now going to add more responsibilities if I have to be creating different things, building new things. And instead, what you want to think about is, how can you rearrange your existing responsibilities, the way you focus your energy and the way you manage your time, on zeroing in what are the absolute indispensable things that you and only you can do, and outsourcing and delegating the things that other people can do and take off your plate, whether it's people you bring in to support you for free, like interns, like delegating things to family members, outsourcing things to even household support, like anything you can think of, removing from your sense of like, I need to do this, and being okay with getting supported in this way, being okay with saying, you know what, I can do all these things, but what if I didn't have to just push so hard? Right? What if you could actually go through this process of building your dream life while having a full-time job and other responsibilities, embracing ease, and actually seeing that the way you do things doesn't have to be through grinding anymore. You may have gotten this far in your life by being a hustler, a hard worker, someone who takes a lot of stuff on your plate and you get stuff done. I get it. A lot of the people in my community are like type A personalities, high achievers, right? But what if at this point, if you're like, if I want to get to the next stage, if I really want to build my dream life, what if I didn't have to push so hard? What if instead I could find ways to release the control, to let go of everything that I do and strategically focus on only the things that I need to do so that I can actually grow and build my life? And when I say building your dream life, inevitably I associate that with creating your independent way of doing things, creating your financial own independent way of making money, your own brand, your own income stream, your own calendar, creating your own thing, even if you work within a context of another job, right? building your autonomy, right? Becoming the CEO of your life, the CEO of your desk, the CEO of your household, becoming the CEO of your destiny, taking ownership of where you want to go and making complete response, like taking ownership and committing to becoming that next version of yourself that's going to get that done, right? So as we wrap up our session today, I want to get you going. I want to get you to start looking at 2023, thinking of like, who's the next person that's going to get these goals? Like you may all have written out your goals. If you haven't, I encourage you to do, because the more you write down your goals, the more chances you're actually going to make that happen. This is science. This has been scientifically proven. So if you've written down your goals for 2023, if you've mapped it out, and if you're like, I know I want this to be part of my life in 2023, I want to challenge you in this training to ask yourself, who do you need to be in order to get those goals? What are the thought patterns that you're going to need to change? What are the decision-making processes that you're going to need to like optimize and challenge yourself, and not say, oh, I'm someone who does things this way, I need to do things in a certain way, and actually say, the next version of myself is actually going to be a fast decision maker, a quick action taker, someone who sets boundaries, someone who commits to things and actually executes them and delivers them and follows through, and surrounds themselves by the environment to be successful, not expecting you to be the one that does it all by yourself. You have nothing to prove, right? You have only so much to gain when you're committing to thinking in this new way. So building your dream life while you're working a full-time job is going to come down to your commitment to becoming a better version of yourself and challenging the way you do things now, knowing that if you want your life to look different in 2023, you need to start with you. You need to start with your decision-making process, with your belief systems, with your thought patterns, and the actions that are going to come as a result of those different choices are going to lead to the next results you want, right? So I hope this inspires you. Let me know what your key takeaways from today's session, and what would you like for me to talk about in 2023. I'm here for you, supporting you, cheering you all along the way. Thank you for joining me. And if this resonated with you and you're like, wow, this, like, I want to talk more about these things, I want to invite you to connect with me. I'm always open to having conversations and, sharing more about how you could apply these strategies more specifically in your business. I'm going to drop the link here in the chat, Fabiana Claure /connect. If you want to talk more about how you could apply these strategies and grow your business with more clarity, grow your life, build your dream life, whether you have a full-time job, a full studio, or you have just a lot on your plate, I invite you to connect with me. Let's get on a call. Let's discuss what this could look like for you in 2023 and what are the different options that you have to elevate your life, to build your dream life, whether you have a full-time job or not. I built my dream life, as I like to say it. I built my business while I had a full-time job as well. I started building my own online umbrella, profit umbrella, in 2020 while I was a full-time tenure track professor and working at a university full-time with 2 kids, including a newborn. And then a few months into the process, the pandemic hit. So you can imagine, like, I know what it's like to build your dream life, to expand, to design your future while having a full-time job, while having a lot on your plate. So I'm here for you. I'm here to support you and be of guidance in any way that I can. So let's connect. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful, happy new year. Happy new year to everyone. And let's prosper together.